Where did all of you start in radio? What was your first job?
Ogallala, Nebraska. I got to get the plug in. Ogallala, Nebraska, a little bitty town in Nebraska.
And what about you, Mr.
I started doing the Johnny Carson show and worked my way down to where I am now.
Oh, you were the one Monday night. I said, who the hell's that guy?
That was me.
It was you.
No. First real job was in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I'm from. New Albany, Indiana, I'm from, but the radio stations are across the river in Kentucky, and that's where I started.
And you did a show, you went to Los Angeles in the late 60s, I read, and you started something late at night on it wasn't KLOS, it was a different station.
KROQ.
K-Rock.
Late at night on K-Rock. And we had the Frazer Smith Hurt Yourself 4 hours where we just went crazy, Tom. We absolutely, it was completely filled with beer cans. We do shows. We were hanging off a balcony in an 11th-story hotel room. It looked like something out of a Mexican movie. You know, you'd walk in and people were just screaming. There was, once we challenged the LAPD to a shootout. I still don't know why that happened.
And won?
And won. Believe it or not, they said, no, Smith, we don't want to fool around with you, man. You're too hip. And we caused a lot of trouble in that town. I'm serious. Slandered stars. Steve Garvey is still after me. I mean, if I see him with an aluminum bat in his hands, I'm leaving town immediately, Tom. But, no, we had a lot of, it was really wild.
What do all of you want to do when you're finished doing what you're doing now?
Does he know something we don't?
I don't know. He must.
Oh, nervous when you hear things like that.
I don't know. I want to count.
You did this for a long time. You started in Milwaukee doing this a long time ago.
Back with Top 40.
Yeah.
And you could only play the Top 40 plus the hit picks of the week that the program director got the money for from the record pusher.
You were also a newsman in Cleveland at one time, as I recall.
Very
right?
short
KYW,
period of time. Yeah, that's right. If you'd like my whole career, I could spend seconds on it for you as it nears its end. But, do you want to would you guys want to do the Tonight Show? I mean, would that be, or a television show like that?
Oh, yeah. I definitely plan to. In fact, I've been putting small objects in David Letterman's car. He lives by me. No, I definitely have, I do stand-up comedy in a lot of clubs, Comedy Store and the Roxy and a lot of clubs in L.A., and I have full intentions of doing all those shows.
You have nightclubs too, don't you?
Yeah, I do nightclubs. I've done for about 8 years.
What kind of stuff? Comedy?
Yeah. That's silly newscasts, commercials, things like that. You know, meat prices are mounting because bulls aren't, stories like that. Quickies, basic, silly things that are in the news.
Do you have nightclubs too?
I used to own a nightclub, which was a short, one-year experience in Baltimore. Made all kinds of headlines. They were all, because I was doing on the nightclub show what I was doing on the
You're
radio.
the one that got shut down for sex in the nightclub, aren't you?
Well, don't put it that way.
There was women taking their clothes off and drugs going around and everything.
No. There was no drugs in my nightclub.
Okay, just wanted to clear that
There was very little booze in my nightclub. And definitely no money in my nightclub. That walked right out the door. I started appearing at different nightclubs around the Baltimore area when I first was there, because they said, well, we want you to work more than your time you're on the air. Go ahead and work some more. You can't just work 4 hours. So I did nightclubs, and it developed into a, I guess, not a cult following, but just a lot of people had never had a chance before to be part of a nightclub show. Andy Warhol said, everybody's going to be a star for 15 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. So for 15 minutes, anybody could be a star in my show. And when you say we were shut down for sex, that's really not the way to put it.
Well, that's the way the salacious press.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Baltimore is very salacious. They are constantly fomenting subversion toward your story. Anyway.
The Salacious Maryland Press, that's the name of a newspaper, reported that story.
I was kind of pressured out of my nightclub politically by the one of the county's liquor board. And there are a lot of counties around Baltimore. And it was just my nightclub was in the wrong county at the wrong time. But see, that's Baltimore. New York City, tonight I turned on the news. The very first story on the news was this gentleman who was hiding his face, who appears in a nude sex club on Times Square, is being arrested for shooting someone. They weren't arresting him for appearing in a nude sex act in Times Square. They're arresting him for shooting someone or maiming someone, right?
They weren't even arresting him for that. He left his car double parked. They didn't care.
In Baltimore, you could get arrested twice for that.
You wouldn't get past the sex act in Times Square in Baltimore, yeah.
I got to do these commercials. We'll continue after these announcements from our sponsors and for the NBC Television Network.
I don't know if you noticed it. They sent my luggage to Miami by mistake.
And Mr. Lanigan is from WGAR in Cleveland, Ohio.
Which you spell it backwards as a Tibetan social disease, if you try that.
All right. A very ugly strain.
Have you read about that, all of you, the red sweat that the stewardesses are getting on the flights between New York and Miami?
I'm serious. A stewardess sat on my tie, and...
You're bad. You are bad.
No, they sent my luggage to Miami by mistake, and it came back with a red sweat. Well, look, the Russians are in Afghanistan. Now that's the red sweat, when you think about it. No, that's not even a gag. We had a thing. We had a World War III on my show. The Frazer Smith Show presents World War III.
Who won?
It was a toss-up. I won. Ozzie Nelson and I won. We were the only two survivors left on Earth.
God, I hope not.
No, it was terrible. And
I'm glad we had
to watch old
I don't want to live.
Lucy reruns, you know. It was terrible. Frazer, it's on again, you know.
So you play rock and roll. You play what kind of records?
All kinds of records.
Middle of the road stuff?
Rock and roll, and no opera, but some middle of the road, a little bit of everything.
And you're an MOR.
Same, yeah, MOR, yeah.
How competitive is your business today?
Oh,
I mean,
more than ever.
But for what you guys do, for being what they call, quote, the talent. I mean, are there guys waiting for your
Probably
job?
could tell just by the fact that you put the 3 zaniest disc jockeys in the country on, and about 50,000 guys called up and says, "You got to be crazy. Those aren't the 3. We got them right here."
Not only that, we're all out of jobs as soon as we get back. I know my job has been filled, either by a midget or a robot.
That used to be, you never took a vacation because you came back and somebody had the
somebody's
show.
got it,
Gone. Absolutely.
You're out of there.
Sure.
Or a piece of automation equipment.
One or the other, yeah.
This is nice exposure, Tom, but we lost the gigs. You know.
And what about the management? Are they tolerant of gaffes that you...
They'd have to be. You know, the kind of station I work for, and you guys, it would take a tolerant management to hire somebody who's going to have a free rein.
You got to be courageous.
My boss is great.
It's true, although I know that the ABC executives that I work with go home and dress like Rosalind Carter at night, you know. They all wear ladies' clothing, so it's hard for me to keep a straight face when I talk to them.
That's right. We had a manager hired a private detective to find out what he did. We're still waiting for the report.
Hey, you know, I have to put these dark glasses on to talk to these people. But I think they are barely tolerant. It's not like the old days where you had Alan Freed types, Murray the K types on a lot, you know, a lot of mavericks. Now there's just a few mavericks. Like you said, you had probably 50 calls saying, "No, we're the zaniest," you know, but I think it's trimmed down from what it used to be, because they used to allow personalities a little bit more.
That's why you try to find stunts. That's why you go for crazy promotions. If you can find something unusual to do, it gets you notoriety.
I remember back when I did it, though, they didn't want that so much. They wanted you to shut up and give the news and give the time and the temperature and play the music and not do anything.
That's why there's not a lot of good, talented disc jockeys around today doing zany stuff, quote unquote, because the kids were told, do this, play 89 records an hour, and read the weather and shut up.
I'll never forget the time I had the studio filled with Chinese food, and they just, I mean, they didn't know what to say. The management came in and just said, get him out of there, you know, and they had to dig me out because there was Chinese food in there. But they're barely tolerant. Sometimes they'll let you go, and other times they're, you know.
As long as somebody's listening, they'll let you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
As long as somebody's there. If they're gone, you're gone. Forget it.